Yo, we back with another one, man. What they found in this dude, David, aka D4vd's phone, they say it's crazy, man. So let's get into the video and see what's going on.
What prosecutors revealed they found in David's phone at his court date today made everybody in the room stomach turn. It was horrifying. This degenerate freak really murdered that little girl and thought he was never gonna get caught. He thought he committed the perfect.
I been knew he was a weirdo though. I told y'all he was a weirdo. Drop a Buddha bomb because Buddha was right about this dude being a weirdo. Come on, man.
For crime. He thought, there's no evidence. He cleaned up his tracks good enough. He thought they was never gonna find out. He was never gonna get arrested, and that's evident by how he was moving. Celeste was murdered according to officials back in April of 2025. I think she was murdered much longer before then, but if we're going with the official timeline, she was murdered back in April. She wasn't discovered dead until September. He had about 6 months to clean up his tracks, and he thought he did a good enough job. He wasn't officially charged with anything until April of 2026. That means that's the entire year since he murdered Celeste. Now, he knew he was under investigation since September. That means he knew he was under investigation for about 6 months. But, his arrogance didn't really allow him to think that he was gonna get caught, because when he was eventually arrested, this dude has so much evidence on his phone, not of what he did to Celeste, but of other things.
And I think they probably found evidence of stuff he had with her on his phone, and they just ain't said it yet. And when the case start, we gonna find that out too. I bet you.
That you would think that if somebody knew or had expectation they was gonna get arrested for something this horrific and knew their phone was gonna be a pivotal part of this investigation, that they would at least clean up their phone. But this dude was so arrogant and so cocky, he didn't even bother to even touch or erase his phone or erase illegal things from his phone.
A hearing just wrapped up for singer David in his first-degree murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez with what we learned in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child found on Burke's cell phone. We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The report says, or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September. Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according to prosecutors, contains child.
If I'm this girl family, I'm suing the LAPD, bro. I could not sit with the fact and be thinking like, if they would have locked this dude up, my child would still be here. That still bothered me.
Child.
And obviously, we don't know if it's Celeste Rivas's images and videos or something else, but that is a significant offense. Obviously, it helps prosecutors prove the sex crimes, the lewd and lascivious, Penal Code Section 288, but it's also a separate crime in and of itself. And it's certainly the possibility that the feds even step into this case because they typically will prosecute these types of child cases.
They described it as a phone full of child porn. Now, am I surprised that this weirdo who's currently on trial for engaging in inappropriate activities with a 14-year-old girl and then murdering her because she was going to reveal it to the world, am I shocked that that person has a phone full of child porn, have gigabytes of child porn? I'm not surprised at all, not one bit, right? Not one bit. I feel like what's even more surprising is that it wasn't deleted or it wasn't gone. He really thought he was safe. Like, he really
Because he's still being a weirdo. They say it's other people speaking out. Victims came out. They say it's other people that they had to escape from him, all type of stuff. The dude a weirdo.
Really thought they was never coming for him. There's no evidence more clear that he thought he was never going to get caught and he was Teflon Don than his neighbors complaining that he was doing too much partying. And this was happening during the investigation. Like, Celeste's body was found. They went to a grand jury. They was like interviewing people, trying to get a murder charge on him. And he was at his hideout home in the Hollywood Hills partying and having a good old time while they investigating this little girl's murder.
Then today, NBC4 Investigates obtained surveillance video that appears to show the defense attorney near the police scene minutes later. This afternoon, Blair Burke returned to the home where police arrested the singer and made no comments as she left.
The DA?
One neighbor actually told me that he's relieved that there was an arrest because he said that there have often been parties at this home. I asked if he's heard parties here recently. He said it's an ongoing problem. Either way, on Monday, we're expected to get our first look at David as he's expected in court in person in downtown Los Angeles.
I'm more interested in knowing who the clout whores and monsters were that were still hanging out and partying with this dude, because he can't party with himself. If there were parties, there were other people there. Who were the people that were still comfortable partying with this?
I want to know, where is the person that was driving a Tesla? That's what I want to know. Where's that person at? I need them to go on here and say that. I'm tired of all these people, the private investigator. Oh, we know who was driving the Tesla. We know who was driving the Tesla. Why they ain't said yet?
This dude, knowing like he was under investigation for what he did to Celeste. Like, even if you want to say, hey, man, I didn't know that he actually murdered her. I thought it was all lies. But you knew he was still having relations with this little girl. And you were still comfortable partying. The only people who I see really comfortable partying with someone like David are people who believe they are like David, or people who have similar interests or secrets like David. Which is why I believe, man, even if we can't prove that anybody at that party actually did something, man, they need to be under investigation. Like, they need to be put on a registry, man. David friends. We need to know who his friends were so people can stay away from him, bro. Because it's not like they was partying with him before her body got discovered. No, right? These were parties that started happening after David came back to LA after going to Texas briefly to hide out. This was in the middle of the investigation. There needs to be a list of names that are part of David's entourage and his network of people. Because I'm not buying David is doing all these things alone. The same way they try to get us to buy that he murdered Celeste by himself, that Celeste came over to his house on, I think, April 23rd or 24th, and he murdered her, and then she was never to be seen again, and he's the one who did all of this by himself. I'm not buying that, bruh. Especially after I seen the autopsy report and found out exactly what happened. I don't think David was able to do this himself, then hop on a plane the next day to go and party and have an album rollout and start his tour, and nobody was there to help him either hide his body, chop up this body, dismember this body, and hide it for him. I don't think David, who was on an active tour, was actively hiding and moving Celeste's body all across Los Angeles County, bruh.
Just received the autopsy report from the medical examiner in Celeste Rivas's death, for which David is now charged with her murder. And there are some interesting things, and we talked about this before, that we knew that the coroner had ruled this, and the medical examiner ruled this a homicide, but we didn't know the cause of death. And the DA said they were stabbed, there was some kind of sharp instrument was used. Now we know, and what they're saying is there were two wounds in particular, and that they believe, and they use the word may, and the word may is going to be really important, which we'll talk about, that they may be penetrating wounds, which would not be wounds
to
dismember a body.
Right, yeah, because of where they are, they believe, is I think the main, and also
and the way they describe it is
itself.
They describe two penetrating wounds, one on the abdomen and one on the chest, and they describe them as, they tell you the depth and the length of these, and they say they have smooth edges. Indication seems to me that some sort of knife was plunged into her, and it left smooth edges.
Is the length of
Yeah, but we been knew that already. What I'm saying is this, though. Who was in charge of watching that car and monitoring to that girl's body while he went out of town, bro? Whoever moved that car knew that body was in there. While he was gone, that body was watched. We killed her all the way in April. They didn't find her till September. This man was doing shows and streams and all that. Who else was in charge of her body when he was not around? They got to go lock up some more people, man. I ain't satisfied. It's like it's something missing. It's more to this story. It's not making sense, and it got to be more people getting locked up unless they all already done flipped on him and they done gave them deals already. That's the only thing I could think of. But if that ain't the case, they need to go get everybody else.
Of the wounds, one is 3/4 of an inch, one is 9/16. So this size wound as the penetrative wound. These are
which
not
is an indication of the length of the blade.
and also a blade that could not dismember a body, right? This would not be the same instrument used to dismember the body.
Now the body was dismembered. They describe all that in detail, but those types of cuts to take the body apart would be different than
Does the report say anything about the dismemberment or what they believe was used?
They don't say what was used.
No, it does describe it in a lot of detail.
It's gruesome.
Yeah.
I don't know what your religion is, but this case is proof that some of us didn't come from heaven. Now, we got to give that up, man. I don't think God created all of us, man. I think the devil had a hand in some of us being created. Because anybody who is capable of this, truly imagine what just happened here. Stabbed up first off, to take somebody's life by a knife, you got to have some level of psychoness.
And this is the other problem. Even though we know she got stabbed with that knife, they found drugs in her system. Remember, people, even before the report came out, everybody was saying, she probably OD'd first. She probably OD'd first. She had OD for even all them anonymous people on Reddit was saying, how did y'all already know it was drugs in her system? No, bro, somebody got to explain that to me. People been saying drugs was in her system before that report came out. How did y'all know that? Go lock everybody up. They got to get locked up, bro. It's literally people on Reddit that knew this case at the line for line, word for word, everything I'm hearing now. It ain't really surprising or shocking to me because I done already read it and seen it before. So if these mysterious people on Reddit know, how they know? Go lock them up.
Is in you, bruh. To take somebody's life with a knife is quite possibly one of the most personal things you could ever do. It's traumatic.
Yeah, it is.
It's not easy.
Nope.
You are feeling their life leave their body with each and every.
But this is the thing, though. Y'all know just like I know. Nobody is finna sit there and just let you stab them with a knife. Did she OD? Was she going off the drugs already? Was she hallucinating? Did the drugs have her thinking he was doing something else or something like this? Got to be explained. Was she covered up? Did she see it? Did she think it was some type of ritual? Did she think something was going on? See, they got to give me more details because that don't make no sense. Because if that was the case, it probably would have been like what he did, cut off her finger. We know he used the knife because he cut the fingers off. But I don't see nobody just standing there letting you stab them with a knife. I don't see that, bro. So they got to give me more than that. Explain that. I think the drugs played a part in it.
Every stab, he still will be a disturbed human being if he would have did it by shooting her or, I don't know, drugging her. But to do it with a knife and to feel that person's soul leave their body, it does something to the average person, bruh. The fact that this dude was able to hop on a plane, go ahead and party, have a good old time laughing, great poker face as if nothing happened the day before, then come back and hop on tour and have a tour, and he's playing with coffins at his tour dates, playing with blood-filled shirts at his tour dates, singing songs like Romantic Homicide that essentially describes what happened, but the music was filmed before. The fact that his mental was able to handle all of this tells me this is not a normal human being. This is somebody who we truly have to acknowledge in the likes of Ted Bundy. Because when you see him interact.
This is the thing, though. We don't even know if he's the one that did the stabbing. We just know that she got stabbed. But we don't 100% know that he did. Who else was with him? Who else was monitoring her body? I'm telling y'all, bro, he couldn't have been the only one knew what was going on with that little girl. I understand we piling in everything on him now. He stabbed her. He this and that. No. Who else was in control of that little girl, man? It wasn't just him. Why? Because when she was with him, she wasn't everywhere with him. But other people knew about her. Other people knew about her body. Other people knew what had happened to her. And they didn't call the police. And they didn't say nothing about it, which makes me feel like if you didn't do that, it's probably because you participated. What was your role? That's what makes more sense to me, man, because like I said, ain't nobody finna sit there and just let you stab them. So if she OD'd off the drugs and maybe she was asleep or something, or I don't know, but I know ain't nobody finna just sit there and let you stab them like that. No.
With other people, rather it's on stream or during these interviews, he's soft-spoken, he's charming, has a bright smile.
He a lame.
We truly have to start considering, David might be like Ted Bundy. And if he was able to do this so easily, if he was able to conceal this little girl's death for so long, imagine who else he did it to. If y'all think that, after hearing what you're about to hear, of limbs being missing, fingers being cut off, if you think that Celeste is his only body, I think y'all are out of y'all mind.
And so there's a word that's used, may, that it may have been caused by this. The defense is going to jump on that.
Oh, they'll definitely.
Because they're not saying it's conclusive, and it aligns with what we've been hearing, which is they were having a really hard time determining how she died.
As
Well, look at the
recently
passage
as
of time.
February.
As recently as
Heard that,
February.
right?
Yeah. The passage of time to determine this is it's many, many months.
There's also, and it's conflicting, and we still can't quite figure it out, but there are references to finding presumptive positive indications that she had both meth and MDMA in her system.
Although additional screenings showed that to be not detected, but the initial screen said presumptively.
It seems like there were two tests taken, two tox screens. The initial one detected MDMA and methamphetamine. Subsequently, they did a confirmation test, and it was unclear whether there was MDMA, but methamphetamine, but no sign of MDMA at that second confirmation test.
I mean, ultimately, is that going to matter when you get to trial, like whether or not she was
Probably
on
not.
any drugs?
Well, they may argue. They may argue it was an overdose. I don't know what they're going to argue, but they'll latch onto what they can.
That's true.
But look, I covered the O.J. Simpson case. The coroner was on the stand for 8 days in that case. So this is going to be the centerpiece of the case because, what the DA is saying is we have evidence she threatened David that she would expose their relationship, probably in a text. That's the way they make it seem. And that she goes to David's house on April 23rd, 2025, never to be seen again.
Right.
So now the question, what happened? So the prosecutor is going to say he stabbed her to death. And here are these 2 wounds. And then you're going to have the defense coming out and saying, look, number one, you didn't say conclusively, you're saying may. And this is a reasonable doubt case.
The medical examiner also released their reports, and I'll be real, bro. Seeing this, man, I don't see how anything other than a death penalty is appropriate here, bro. So they confirmed 2 things. She was missing both arms above the elbows and both legs above the knees. Now, underneath the body bag was a black trash bag that contained the descendants' apparent compiled bilateral arms and legs. They appear to have been dismembered into several fragments. The descendant was in an advanced state of decomposition,
And see, that's what I'm saying, bro. Okay, we got 2 stab wounds, and we still got a chopped up body. Like, what the hell going on here? Explain that. They ain't putting nothing how her knees got, how her legs got separated from a kneecap and all that. Like, what? Why they not talking about that? Something ain't right, bro.
demonstrated by foul odor, discoloration, liquefaction. Notice approximately 1-inch linear defect on her abdomen and circular defect on her left flank. Now, the left ring and pinky fingers appear to have been mutilated. So this dude probably kept this as a trophy, man. What a weirdo. And I did not locate them during my scene examination, so they're missing. They're gone. She has a tattoo that reads "shh" on the side of her right index finger. I did not observe any discernible scars or tattoo. I don't even want to know what that weirdo and sicko is doing with those fingers, but his next court date is in like a week or two, so we're going to keep on covering this. Let me know in the comment section, what are you guys' thoughts, man? Why?
Man, I feel like it's a whole lot of unanswered questions. We need some answers. And I feel like it's some more people that need to go to jail because they was monitoring that little girl. They knew what happened to her. They knew where she was at. They knew she was in that car. He wasn't even a man, so he not around, and this little girl body just getting moved around everywhere. From the house to the Tesla, from the Tesla to up the block, driving about. Who had the Tesla while he was gone? All that time. From the time she died with April, May until September, somebody knew that her body was in that car. And I want to know who was in that car. I bet you they got the answer on Reddit. I haven't been on Reddit on purpose because I know 90% of the stuff I'm asking, they probably already done answered it on Reddit. Reddit was the first to bring up his friend, Neo, the one, the gay dude they had on the gay shirt, all that. I'm gay, you gay, gay sounds nice, all that stuff they was doing. Like, Reddit brought that up. His other girlfriend, soon as Reddit brought her up, she came out speaking and talking. Soon as Reddit, the Ween guy, the Jason the Ween, the streamer. Soon as they brought him up, bro, he didn't do it, bro. He didn't kill her, bro. It wasn't him, bro. Now that's not my bro. I don't have nothing. He's a monster. I don't know him like that. That's not my guy. Y'all was best friends, bro. Now everybody trying to distance themselves away from the situation. We gonna find out though. I want them all locked up. All of them. Straight death penalty. That's what I want. In the comment section, man. Let me know what y'all think about all this, man. I'm out.